Hello and welcome to the Nothing is Wrong with You book podcast with the book podcasters, Colleen, Athena, and Rebecca. We are so excited that you're here with us today. As always, when we start the podcast, we share what we're currently reading. I'm going to pass it on to Colleen. What are you reading right now?
Fiction-wise, I just finished The Whispers. I'm holding this up by Ashley Audrain. I loved her book, The Push. I had no idea she had a new book. The cover was very pretty when I was scanning new books at the Kutztown Library. And then I saw author of The Push. And I was like, oh, I liked that book. And so I will say, I know we're not necessarily reviewing these, but I will say this is a very good read. It will not change your life, but is a very good read with very good characters. And I think Audrain should win an award for best last lines of a book, because she's done it now twice. And so if that gets you to read it, I would love
Would
that.
you compare it somehow to The Push? Like style-wise?
Yes. Very similar, suburbia kind of women who aren't quite sure what they want. There's been a thing that's happened and everybody's trying to figure out what the thing is that happened. So yeah, it's the kind of book like I was excited when I would have 10 minutes to sit down and read. My comfort book, it's actually called Comfort, is called The Comfort of Krouse by Margaret Renkl. A Backyard Year. I've been reading her in the New York Times, but didn't realize it was the same person. Who told me to read this book? Oh, my friend Lauren told me to read this book. She's like, I feel like this would be your jam. And she is right. And it's a week in nature, and so I'm trying really hard to only read it once a week, but I can get caught up in winter, so I'm getting caught up. But I think that's probably not going to happen, and I think I'm probably going to tear through it because it's beautiful. You're nodding, Athena. Did you read it?
Yeah, I love that book.
It's really lovely. And then Rebecca's going to be so excited that this is my nonfiction book right now.
So good.
Everything by Erika Krouse. It is so good. What a good nonfiction book. But I love books that do like a story of a person, but also a story outside of that person. So this is a great example of that. I'm tearing through it. I think I started it 2 days ago. I'm halfway done. So tell me everything. What a great nonfiction read. So those are the things I'm just finishing or in the middle of. How about you, Athena?
Okay. I want to read Tell Me Everything. Now I'm excited. Sorry. That's why I get really excited when I see
it's really good.
Okay. I start with this is really fun. I love Grady Hendrix. You know Grady Hendrix. Grady Hendrix does like horror, but it's like there's a dash of something kind of like just like funny about it. Like he did the How to Sell a Haunted House and the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. Like it's funny. So this is his newest book, and I'm loving it. And it's
what's it called?
Witchcraft for Wayward Girls.
And it's I love that title.
This is so great. It's about these girls in the 70s that get sent to a home for young girls that are pregnant, you know. And then, so the Grady Hendrix hook is always, so like the Southern Vampires are like all these moms in the 90s. This is, pregnant teens in the 70s, but then they discover witchcraft and how it's just great. There's always an awesome sense of humor in his books. Like he did a whole IKEA catalog book. Like he's just funny. Like he's really funny. And so I love his stuff. This has been great.
That doesn't sound like a book I would ever pick up, but everything you said about that makes me want to read it so much.
It's great. And how they use it, and the librarian that kind of pushes the witchcraft to the girls to be like, read this. It's awesome. It's great.
It's like in Night Bitch where the librarian does that.
Oh, sorry. I love that.
Anyway, that's another podcast episode. But it's interesting. There's this like trope of a librarian who kind of like pushes the women toward the thing they're looking for.
Yes. Okay. I love this. This is so fun. I love this. This is great. A Bit Much, poems by Lyndsay Rush. I'm loving these. I sent you both one. A picture of one in our chat about friendship.
Yes.
These are so beautiful.
We don't talk enough about poetry.
Oh my gosh. Like just read these. They're lovely. It's so accessible too that I'm thinking of I'm thinking of like ordering a box for Upward Bound for this summer and doing like a study on it with my students. Just beautiful. I love those. So yeah, A Bit Much by Lyndsay Rush. And then I'm so excited to talk to you both about this. Oh my goodness.
What?
I'm sorry. I'm reading Black and Blues, How Color Tells the Story of My People by Imani Perry. Let's talk about it.
I just heard her on Terry Gross. Yeah.
Let's talk about it, y'all. Like, I don't even know.
I haven't read it, but the hour interview was fascinating.
Like, I am more than halfway done with this.
Okay.
This is gorgeous. It says, like, I always read the inside because I don't want to, this says it better than me. But it's a meditation on the color blue and its role in Black history and culture. And she won a National Book Award for her other book, South to America, which then, of course, I bought because I'm like, I have to read all of, oh my gosh, and how she goes through these different periods of history and what the color blue meant, whether it was for like dyeing indigo cloth or like what it meant, and like it's just beautiful. Like it's hard to.
I'm sold. Anybody who does that takes the thing and then uses it to think about the other thing, I love it. Okay.
Loving it.
Wow, she's petting the book. If you're listening, there's like an actual love fest happening.
I love it. I think it's beautiful. It's the kind of thing too where I'm like, I want to go start over again just to make sure I got everything.
Wow. I never feel that way.
Yeah,
is the title from the poetry book is that based on like a woman being called too much? Like, is it somebody that was like, oh, you're a bit much? I'm rolling my eyes.
Oh, and by the way, her Instagram handle is Mary Oliver's drunk cousin.
Oh, I follow her.
Oh, you do?
Oh, I follow her. What?
Oh, it's so good.
Her Instagram is fantastic.
Oh, great. Okay.
Yeah.
So these are my loves. And that's a good
But I wonder, I'm intrigued by the title, right? We've all probably been called a bit much at some point. You're a bit much. Okay.
I think you're probably right.
I won't curse because we won't get the explicit thing. I'm just going to say that. But I have things to say. But I'm curious if that's where the title comes from.
Okay.
Anyway, we don't need to go down that rabbit hole. I'm just curious about it.
No, and let me just tell you, like, I know this is what I do on this podcast. I derail it. I sort of say, like, you open it up and like this one is cracks of light. And she says, I'm so grateful that bad days are often followed by good ones, that sometimes while it's raining, the sun makes a little cameo, that time really does heal. And in the meantime, sleep helps, that our dogs can tell when we need extra comfort, that when the worst case scenario takes us by surprise, so does our own strength. Isn't that lovely? You just open it to things like that, like little bits. Thanks for letting me read poetry on the podcast. But just like,
that sounds like a great book to explore with students. I think that's exactly the kind of book to introduce to students.
And while I hug this, it's very intense.
Well, yeah, I'm not going to do Imani Perry with a Outward Bound script, but I would do that other book for sure.
Yeah, this is like, I mean, there's a lot of darkness here too, but just absolutely beautiful. So, okay, sorry.
Thank you.
Go. I just got excited. Okay.
I'll be ordering these upon.
I know my list is growing longer and longer.
Okay.
So I am currently reading
Rebecca?
Auta Wahine, The Ancient Wisdom of Maori Goddesses by Hana Tapiata. Interesting thing on this, there's a podcast I listened to that she's been talking about the Auta Wahine, and I messaged my daughter-in-law in Aotearoa, and I was like, are there any books on the goddesses? Because there's so many on the gods, right? And she's like, not that I know of. Yeah. And like the day later, like this showed up on my Instagram. I was like, there is a book. So
we're being listened to.
So it just came out. And so I'm loving it so far. I got it shipped.
Did you get it from here? Yeah. Did you have to get it shipped from?
Yeah.
The
and
islands.
We're heading home soon. So the Oxfam, I think it is, awards just came out. And so I was like, so I already ordered books. They're waiting for me when I get there. Super excited about that.
Oh.
Yes.
Is that the one where Amma came from? I'm reviewing that. I'm getting a copy for WorldLit today.
Yeah, that will be good.
Be talking about that.
So I've already decided I'm not taking any books with me when we go down there because I already have books waiting for me. So I'm super excited about that. And now I don't have to pay shipping.
Yay. Just have to pay for a plane ticket.
You're going home anyway.
It works out
Yep. And another book that I just finished is The Blue Hour by Paula Hawkins. I don't have it with me, but she wrote The Girl on the Train.
On the train, yeah.
What do you think of The Blue Hour? I have it.
I
haven't read it yet.
Oh, great. God, I need to get a pen.
Oh yeah.
I have it on
So
my
good.
nightstand, Fran.
Well, because the interesting thing about this
I'll write
one,
that one
right?
next.
I'm a sucker for stories about artists as well and like artwork. And so that's the space. Like, oh yeah, it was so good. I won't go into the details, but I really enjoyed it. And it was one of those that was like on my list when I saw it with the Chuckanut Reader that came out, right? We're showing like upcoming books. I was like, oh, that sounds really good. And so I'm so glad that I put it on my list and got it. Yeah.
I'm excited now. Thank you.
Yeah. All right.
Yay.
I liked The Girl on the Train. I thought that was a very readable book. Again, we don't always have to read books that are going to like change our lives. I think it's good to have books that we roar through. So, you know, The Whispers and that one, right? I think they're probably fast. Yeah, like fast. Like it's good to have something fast. And I hate when people say a book is a guilty pleasure. I'm like, it's just, if it's pleasurable, it's not guilty. Stop it. Read whatever you want, people.
I know, I hate that too.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. God, I can't stand when people judge like in that way, like that there's some books that are more valuable. Get over it. Just read a book, whatever you like.
That's it, right? Yep.
Whatever you like.
I agree.
Correct.
Anyway, talking about like and
the
dislike.
Point of the podcast and why we're here of looking at books that have either been getting great attention and people are loving it and or in the award space that we just don't get or don't resonate with. Again, as always, this is nothing against the book or the author. It is just our reading and interpretation of or connection and or just where we were in that time and space, and it just didn't connect with us. So, as always, this is not a judgment call. It is just us having a conversation about a book. So, I am passing this one off to
about someone who is infinitely popular. As someone who is infinitely popular and doesn't.
So I'm going to pass this off to the two of you to have a conversation, and then I'll chime in. So we are talking about Miranda July's All Four, and two abandons, right? What are your thoughts?
Yes,
I have a lot to say. Go ahead, Athena. Start off.
I want you to start it. I want you to start. I really do.
I might derail it.
So excited.
I would like to preface this by Colleen has been this whole time about like Miranda July. But
I was just going to say, I'm going to start back a little bit because I have never liked Miranda July's work, but I have come up in academia about the same time as her career. So I've read it, and I just think it's like too precious. And her work is not, we've talked in the past about how like needing to connect. I don't need to connect to a character always to read through. I just like, there's a preciousness about, I might even say about Miranda July and not just her work that is hard for me. It's just grating.
Yeah.
So again, Miranda July is having a beautiful career. It does not matter what I think about her. So I had it, I swear to God, like 7 people told me I needed to read this book. They all read it. And like on paper, this would be a book that I would absolutely love. And for the first 20-ish pages, I did. The way she talks about mothering is really interesting. And then it became about a privileged white lady who just goes and wastes all of her money on a hotel room, making it her own. So she can, I will not say the curse word, but so she can basically, I'm assuming, end up on all fours. And I know what happened. Like that's all anybody talked about. Not my friend, but like reviews and everything about the like amazing sexuality. Again, on paper, this should be a book that I would really, really want to like. I just can't stand the privilege of what the woman does to get to that space that I had to stop. But there were some really beautiful paragraphs. I got to like page. I got through some. She's a few days in the hotel room before. She's not even having sex yet with the person that I think she's going to have sex yet. Like, I can handle books about sex. It is the privilege that this book reeked of that I was just like, I can't sit with this. So I did abandon it. And then I looked at it and I was like, oh, did all men say this is good on the cover? Like, but there is a woman. But like, I love George Saunders and I love Michael Cunningham, and they both say this is like one of the best books that's ever written. So maybe it is. I stopped, and it's not because of the sex. Though books like that sometimes do make me feel like a prude, like Raven. I remember reading that and being like, I'm just an old lady. But so I abandoned because of that. And I think I maybe just brought a little too much to it. And I wasn't going to buy it, but then it was in the little free library. I think I sent Rebecca a picture of it. I was like, look, this was in the little free library that I usually stock. So it's sitting here, and it's going to go right back to the little free library when we're done recording. Yeah. Athena, how far did you get?
Oh, not far. I had the same feeling about it. It kind of reminded me, I know it's very different, but it's probably similar to people have listened to previous episodes of kind of how I feel about Eat, Pray, Love. What I talked about on that podcast. It's kind of that kind of thing. It's like, I'm going to just give up on responsibilities and various things. And I mean, there's a beauty, like, cause, and Rebecca will talk about this, and we talked about it. Like, there's a beauty to that idea of like, I'm going to just make my own space, have my own place where I can go. And it's like, and I know that feeling, you know what I mean, of wanting that, but there's just something about that personality type that I can't get past, that I like get stuck on, and I can't connect when it's so like, this is all about me, and this is like you said, like this privilege. Like, it kind of sometimes it reminds me too of like certain self-help authors that I will not name because we're not talking about them right now. That I also feel like that I'm just like, I hear you on some things, on other things it's like, this is very privileged that we get to think even that way about our lives. Do you know what I mean? Sorry, that's kind of
like it is a frustrating. Yeah. The kind of like rich white lady, I get to just abandon, my rich white lady existence. And this is not fair. I know. I mean, I it's just me that's where I think that maybe that just hits a nerve for me. Yeah. I don't know. But so the premise, and I'm not giving anything away, but like she gets a bunch of money from
art grant. It's an art. That's why she's going to New York.
Or is it a grant, or does she get a big contract? She gets like a little contract. I thought she got like a big anyway. So she gets all this money, and she tells her family she's gonna go across the country, and then she doesn't, and that's fine. Like, I'm totally fine with that. Mm-hmm. But then she wastes all this money redoing a motel room, and I kept trying. And I was just like, I don't need to like you, but oh my God, I'm not going to be able to read this. No. So this is maybe what Athena and I are bringing to it too. Like, I don't care that she lied to her family. Like, I don't care at all. I'm like, go do what you need to do. But the just kind of like the oozy privilege of it is what I could not get past. And that is always my issue with Miranda July.
Well, I love that you're kind of talking about it like it's nonfiction, that this is actual someone's life. It's fiction. And so in some way, it's like, what are we learning out of fiction in this space? So it's not like we're looking in someone's life and that somebody actually did this. It's fiction. But anyway, how I came to the book.
Is Athena done? Are you done, Athena? With your
I hear what you're saying. I think following Miranda July as a person, it's difficult not to separate her from it. So I hear what you're saying, that this is fiction, but she's kind of that way. Like, we follow her on Instagram, and I like her as like almost a performance artist. I connect with her more. You know what I mean?
Interesting, anyway, the inability to disconnect the author from the fiction.
I can't with her. And I was very clear with all my friends who wanted me to read this book. It's very upfront that I'm bringing a lot to it before I even get to it. Yep. So it's a long way to me to say I didn't like it. But Rebecca did. So
this is the opposite of Women Talking, which is the first podcast that we talked about, where Colleen loved it and I hated it. I actually came to the book from Melanie Lyndsay, is it? The actress that's in like Yellow Jacket. She's the New Zealand actress. And she wrote about it, and she just said that this is really interesting. Like there are moments in it that I've, connected with friends about since, and I was like, all right, I'll give it a go, right? And I'm so glad I did. Like I really enjoyed it. Again, I listened to it. Sometimes I feel like listening to books that people are in the end, like I don't like it. It's like there's a freedom in listening as opposed to actually like sitting down and being like, right.
Yes, right. You're giving it your full attention when you're sitting
Yeah.
and reading it.
Yeah.
Like
So
I'm
I think in
spending
some
time
way
doing
that creates a different layer to it. And I love that you're both like, oh, the privilege of the lady going to the hotel and creating this stuff. I was like, this is because again, I didn't take this as seeing it as like in the sense of privilege of like this woman did this. It's more like, what is this a commentary on? Right? Like it was more like, okay, so what would it be like to create a space for self where you feel you are your authentic self, not the self that the world wants you to be, not who you've compromised yourself to be in your family, not how you've compromised yourself to be in the workplace, but to just be who you are. And so thinking of it that way, I didn't go into like she just spent all this money on this hotel, how horrible of her. It was more like, what is this actually saying? Because I think one of the really interesting things she talked about in using the decorating, right, is that her home house, right, where she lives with her husband and child, it's been a compromise. It was someone else's vision, and she's just like again using the mechanism and a tool of a room and a decoration as a way to express self, and how her whole life has been in a space. Pardon, what was that?
She moved into it, right? Like he already live
Correct.
there, and she just like brought some pans and that
So
was
this
it,
idea
right?
of
Yeah.
I have been living in someone else's world. I have elements of myself there, but it's not really me. And I love that it all started with a quilt she bought, right? She buys this quilt as she decides I'm not going. She buys this quilt and just because she loves it, like loves the feel and the look of it. And we've all watched Athena like hug books in here. Like I think it's that kind of like that tactile, like this is delicious, or I love this so much, I want to be with it. And so it's that kind of element, and then like building what would the space look like if you built it around the things that you love or that resonated with you or connected with you in some way. And I just love that concept. I think this is where, and I think maybe it was even the prompting of Melanie in her post of like, there's elements of it that I keep thinking about. And I think I went into it that space of like, what's in here for me to think about instead of like, I'm just here for the story. And because I think what's so interesting is I think when we first talked about it, Athena was like, oh, but the sex or something. And I was like, I don't even remember. I'm like, she hardly has sex at all. And then I was like, later on, like, I lied. Oh, yeah. She has, because I know she had sex with the one guy, right? Yeah. But then I was like, oh, wait, there was the lady. I'm like, those things did happen. But that's not even, if you asked me about the book, I'd probably be like, oh, yeah. And then there was this stuff going on. The other interesting about that, and I'm hoping I'm not giving away too much, but the other interesting thing about that is that she felt as this older woman, right, with this attention from this guy, and like it was these moments. Who cares if I give away? If you don't want to know what happens in all fours, then just stop listening right now. Stop. She, because you guys didn't even get to this part, right? So she.
No, I didn't get her.
So this is the interesting thing. So, they're seeing each other. Like she sees him at the gas station, and then he's at the cafe, and it's just like, what's going on here? Why am I seeing this guy everywhere? And he's like, he wants to be my tour guide or something, right? And it's actually his wife or fiance is the one that decorates the room, right? Is the interior decorator that she actually pays the money to because she knows they're trying to buy a house and they want to have a baby and everything, right? And this whole thing, and then they end up having a relationship. Had a technical difficulty. We are back together. So I'm going to continue the conversation about the character in this book, because again, it is not Miranda July, it is a character. And I was talking about this relationship with the guy that she eventually does have sex with, right? Like, we know that's part of this whole thing. But what's so interesting is that she sees these as like these serendipitous moments at the beginning, right? Like, even buying the quilt was like, it's like those moments where you're just like, it's like the stars are all aligning, and this guy just happens to be where I am, and like, does he know me? I don't know. Like, does he know that he just saw me at the other place? And then I find the quilt, I build this whole thing, and like, even like down to like the tiles and like all the little details. And then later in the book, you find out that the guy knew exactly who she was. He admired her as an artist, and he didn't even work at the gas station when he was like washing her car. Like, he did that because he knew her, and he initiated the whole thing. Although at the time, she thought that she was initiating this kind of relationship with him, but he was like this awestruck fan guy that wanted to have a relationship with her. So it was like this whole twist on it that you were like, okay, she's not this, like, I mean, in some ways she thought she was this older woman, like, having sex with this younger guy and, feeling guilty about the wife and everything. But at the same time, that's why she gave them the money, because she was like, she wanted them to have the house and the kids and everything they wanted to do. So I thought that was a very interesting twist to the whole thing. Like,
So he's a
well, I think it's like, right. So I think what was interesting about that, again, talking about the things to think about in it, how I was thinking about what she talked about with the room, was how often we think things are like just random, but they're not. They seem random to us because we weren't the one with the intention, but there was somebody else there with the intention that made sure it wasn't random.
Yep.
And how often, like, things just happen and you're like, so it's just, that added a twist to the storyline in that way, right? Like, it wasn't all about her and her desire and her needs in this space. There was his agency, his full agency in that, to actually make him constantly be in front of her, to be like, oh, and by the way, my wife is an interior designer. Like,
so does he plant this seed?
Well, this is what I'm saying, right? Like these things that you're just kind of like, well, I think her idea was to stay, right? And her idea was around what she wanted in that space, but it totally wasn't either, right? Because the interior designer is the one going, oh, like I don't think you would have gotten to this point, but like some of the stuff that she did in the bathroom, she was just like, I just thought you would really like this, right? And so,
Oh no, so I got to that part. I got to the bathroom part where and she like took over, like the interior designer.
So there's some way, right, to say, again, around that idea of creating a space that is all your own. However, it was orchestrated by a guy who knew who you were, and by his wife as the interior designer, who's also bringing her interpretation of you into the space. Right? And so I'm like, so do we ever, I think so part of the process at the end, I was like, well, do we ever really know who we are without the influence of others? Because we are in this human space together, and that we grow up in families, good or bad, and we develop ourselves through there. We create our friend groups, we get married, we have children. Like, there's always pieces that are defining you. And even when you think you have created a space that is all yours, is it all yours? So again, I don't even know if that was what July was kind of going at, but that's what kind of the whole thing. I was, whoa, that's like, because even at the end, right, like, she continued to go to the hotel. The hotel made so much money off of her room because they could say there's a special room in this like diva hotel that you can come, but it was always hers to come back whenever she wanted, right? Yeah. And so there was an
Oh, is
agreement
that
that
how
they
it ended
made that
up?
he would,
I
like,
didn't
her
remember.
husband was like, yep, you can go off. And it wasn't about her going off and having random sex with anybody, because that wasn't even really what this was about. It was about her being in a space where she
Right.
felt herself. But to my point that I just made was it really her, like, the space for herself? Because it was so, there were
Right.
elements of how it got orchestrated by others.
Interesting. Wow. Huh.
The desire, again, on paper, I should be very interested in that, right? The desire to create something for yourself, the inability, especially for a woman, to be able to do that. And even so, does she find, I mean, we already said things are going to get spoiled, so I feel okay. Like, does she find out that
Oh yeah, he tells her.
he
He
planted
tells her.
himself? Or
And I
is
think
that
this
just
is
something
why
we know?
when we had the technical
Oh, okay.
difficulties, you asked about the cover, which I was like, I don't know, it doesn't make sense to me. But there is a moment where they're outside where, and I think they're like overlooking something, but it doesn't, I wouldn't have imagined it to look like this, but whatever. Anyway, he tells her, like, oh yeah, I knew who you were.
Huh.
I don't remember.
How does she
Wow.
respond to that? What is she scared?
I
Like,
think in it,
like positive
as
or
anyone
negative,
would
I guess,
be
is
in
all.
some ways, especially a woman of that age, when you're feeling invisible, for someone to say, I recognize you, I knew who you
Right.
were as an artist, your work is amazing, right? Like you're gonna, I don't think she was like, oh my God, a stalker, I'm running away. I think she was more just like, whoa. And then realizing that I wasn't fully like I wasn't fully in charge as I thought I was in this
Yeah.
whole thing. Like, because it had this element of,
Yeah.
again,
Yeah.
she was building this world herself, doing what she wanted to do, right? And then to find out that, oh, I wasn't.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Very interesting.
Does
Huh.
the wife know that he's
I
having
don't
sex with her?
think,
Like, are they
I
in on
think,
it?
oh, it's been a while now since I read it. I mean, I think
Well,
because at some point
that's
they,
just a question to ponder, right? Like, are the two actually acting against
oh,
her? Like, are
I
they
don't think it
acting
was
in
that way.
cahoots
No, I
and
don't think
using?
so.
No. Okay. Okay. It
No, I
wasn't
think
like the
he
two of
did. I
them
think he was
planned to
like,
take it to.
okay, this lady has money. I mean, again, this is my interpretation. This was not in the book. But like, this lady has money. I know who she is. We could get the money we need to get out of Dodge, essentially. And I'll have my wife who
Yeah.
wants to be an interior designer to do the work. And so in some ways it's a win-win, right? Like, my wife is happy because she's doing what she wants to do. We're getting the money we need. And I'm spending time with this famous artist.
Huh.
But in the end, he's gone. He's out of the picture.
Huh.
He's left, right? And so she continues to go back to the room,
Yeah.
right? Like, she continues to create
What does
this
her
space,
family
to
think
go
she's
back to a
doing?
space where she felt like she was herself, or at least it represented herself more. Yes, it's
Does her
agreed.
family
Her and her
know that
husband
she's
at the
doing?
end
Like, at what point
are like, okay.
she goes and tells her husband, I did this thing.
You know what's
I
so
lied.
funny? And again, we've already said
fell out
about the spoilers, but there's in Goodreads, right? But this was before I picked it up, and someone was like, when it got to the poop, I couldn't read it anymore, and I was like, what is happening with poop? What is going on?
What happened?
And I was just
blood,
like,
poop. We love the base
waiting
stuff.
for it and waiting for this like horrible poop scene in the book, and it didn't happen until she went back home, and it was with their dog.
Okay.
He had impacted poop, and they
Oh.
needed to help him. And I was like, any pet owner would do that. I was like, that was the reason you stopped the book at the very end.
Well, that's a good reminder of everybody brings something different to a book, right? Like, for her it was the poop, for me it was the privilege. Like,
that should be a shirt. For her
it
was the poop, for me it was the privilege.
Maybe her dog had a rough
Well, I
night,
think
was
maybe
like,
if you've never had a pet, like, you might not think that.
Well, and I think that is so. And her
Oh, it
husband's
wasn't.
just like
I mean, it
totally
wasn't like he was
cool,
like,
oh, you
yeah,
totally
great
lied
for
to
you.
us.
I mean, there was work they had to do, right? Like it wasn't just like,
There's some
great, I'm glad
tension
you had
there.
a sex with a whole bunch of people and didn't go to New York. And well, he knew
Oh,
that
she
she. I
tells him
mean,
that
he knew
too?
that where she was.
I don't know. I'm glad I didn't read it, but I'm
Again,
glad
I
you
think
liked it.
I do. Yeah.
And and many women I love liked this book. This is not, I am not a popular, my
I'm
opinion
not
is very
either.
different than
again, I
many
think
women popular.
when
Yep.
people have talked to me
Same.
about not liking it, like, I mean, when Athena first was like, oh, this and this, and I was like, that's not what I got out of it. And I think it is just really, I think, and obviously we know your thoughts, Colleen, on Miranda July. So I think some of it is just how you're coming into it. I had no more expectations out of it than just because I've never read July before. So it's not like I like know any of her other books or even know anything about her. It was Melanie's comment of very thought provoking. Like, and so
Yeah.
I think coming into it without any previous thought of July, any previous thought of anything, except I knew there was going to be a poop scene that would turn people off. I knew there was, but
And
like,
sex.
you
You
know
had to
what?
have known there was going to be sex.
I just listened to
That's all
another book that I was like
anybody
halfway
talks
through. I'm like,
about.
okay, that's enough with the sex. Like, this is getting ridiculous.
Okay, can you say the name of it or not
My
yet?
friend said she listened to this in the car and she was like, Jesus.
I know.
Like she was like, I would not listen to this book, at least unless you're
I
alone.
didn't even think it was that bad. I mean, I didn't even think it. Like out of all the other books that I've read that has had sex in it, this was. I would
Maybe
not. I
that
was
has
not
something
like,
to do, right?
whoa.
This line I really liked where she, like I said, where she talks about, you know, Harris and I were just two workaholics, fairly equal. Without a child, I could dance across the sexism of my era, whereas becoming a mother shoved my face right down into it. A latent bias internalized by both of us suddenly leapt forth in parenthood. Like all that stuff, I loved the tension that got her to the hotel.
Yep.
I really did. And I loved that she didn't go
I mean,
to
I
New
think
York,
like
I guess,
there's something
maybe
about that
just
too, right? Like the just is like I'm stopping the madness, right? Like why am I doing this? Like what am I doing?
Right.
Why am I doing this? Right? Like you know, if you just think about like the grind and what you do and like you just keep doing it and to just go, I don't want to do that.
So what you're telling me is this is a 21st century woman's version of Walden.
That's funny.
This is what I'm getting from this conversation.
So I have three quotes that I pulled out that again that I just kind of thought about in this space. And so one of them, I don't know where they were in the book, but like nobody knows what's going on. We are thrown across our lives by winds that started blowing millions of years ago, right? Like it's just like, what is this thing called life, right? Like, and we just do these things because we do these things because we do these things, right? And so it's like examining the whys.
Right.
Is kind of what I was seeing throughout. So not only for her, but also the guy and his wife and everybody in it. Like, why are we doing all this? Why are we here? And another one was each person does the amount of lying that is right for them. You have to know yourself and fulfill the amount of untruth that your constitution requires.
Yeah.
A great line. Right. That's a fantastic line.
And then the other one was, if there was anything meaningful about aging, it was tunneling backwards in a time together, holding memories as a couple, as they made a kind of safe basket in a rough and arbitrary world, not just for Sam, which is their child, but for us. So there's even some really nice things about the her relationship with her husband in that too.
Yeah. Huh.
Well, I'll be curious what listeners end up doing.
Yes.
We would love to know.
I know.
We're not done yet, but we would love to know if you read it and if you liked it. And comment on YouTube is always a good thing. But I like these conversations when one of us liked it and the others didn't or abandoned it or wanted to throw it across. This is like you said,
women
this is
talking.
like women talking,
Yeah,
but the reverse for the two of
Yeah.
us. Because I wanted to throw this book across the room.
Yeah, well, because then I think in that one too, just like this one, is that I was coming to Women Talking with a history and a background of Mennonites, right? And you were coming to this book with a history and background with Miranda July. So like we already came with baggage in some way or a thought process into the book.
Right.
And so maybe that's just even why I could actually get through it, because I had nothing. I had no thoughts about her or anything.
Yeah.
So as always, at the end of the podcast, we recommend a book to you. And so this one we are recommending, and I'm going to have Colleen talk about it first, is A Mind Spread Out on the Ground by Alicia Elliott. Now, I believe this is a 2 out of 3 vote because you have not read this one. Is that correct, Athena? Okay.
No, I'm excited to read that. I haven't read that yet.
So this one,
I'll order that one.
Again, we are suckers for covers. I love this cover. Yeah, and so I picked this up as she's a Canadian Indigenous author, which is why I picked it up. And I remember I posted a picture about it, posting pictures to each other. I posted a picture about it on Instagram, I think, and just really loving it. I think it might have even been during lockdown. I can't remember. It was outside. Oh yeah, 2020. Remember I was out on our patio reading this, and Colleen was like, "Ooh," and then picked it up, and it really resonated with you. So, what were your thoughts on this, Colleen, and why would you recommend this one?
So this is a collection of essays. I do like essay collections, and this the title comes from the Mohawk phrase for depression. Is a mind spread out on the ground. So there's a lot of ways that this author interrogates her, I think that's the right pronoun, her depression and mental illness and how that connects to parenting, and having been parented. I'm always very interested in that. So I didn't know this was a bestseller in Canada, because I feel like you and I might be the only people in America in the States that have read this, but that's not true at all. But I sometimes think that happens, that we pick these books and then hopefully everybody else will read them. And there's a lot about abuse. So I just want to be really clear, if somebody's going into this, you should be prepared for that. So this is the perfect example. I love this paragraph. When I want to remember the good things about my father, I must forget the bad things. When I want to remember the bad things about him, I must forget the good. There's no space for me to hold both of these realities at the same time. No gray logic in this black and white world. There are either heroes or villains, victims or abusers. These dichotomies must remain intact. And yet, right? And then she goes on, right? And yet, I don't know. I really loved the prose. I think it's probably not an essay collection for everyone. I would say, if you liked Heartberries, this would be a good book to read. It's just, and I love, how her Indigenous identity also is part of all of these things that she's trying to understand about her world. So
I can't wait.
I read it a long time ago, and I remember being really connected and moved by it, and still seeing the cover makes me just want to read it again.
Yeah, I mean, I think the same, right? I read it almost 5 years ago now, and it still has resonated with me. And she does have a fiction book that recently came out that I did read, which is also really good. So, and just a shout out there, if you are not reading Canadian authors, you are missing out. Check out your Canadian authors.
Yeah.
And if you're not reading Indigenous authors, right? The three of us would do a whole podcast just about that. But there's so much. There's just so much. I mean, there's so many things beyond the kind of canonical books, or even the best-selling books that are worth checking out.
Yeah.
You should follow our Instagrams,
which you can get in the show notes.
About that a lot. Yeah, exactly. But we and definitely wanted to amplify an Indigenous writer, because we read so many books by them, and we wanted to make sure that we were conscious about that.
I can't wait to read that.
Yeah, I'll be interested what you think about it,
Yeah,
Athena.
I'm
It's an
excited.
essay
Thank you.
collection. I also like essay collections because you can dip
She
in, dip out.
incorporated a braided essay at
I
some
love
point.
that.
Like it's just beautiful, right? Like the writing's beautiful. It's
Mhm.
hard. It's hard topics, right? Like there's pain. There's there's mental illness. It's hard, but the way that again she writes allows you to really enter into that space in a wonderful way. It's talking about decolonization, the effects of colonization, all the topics that I'm usually talking about. So I think that was another reason why I really liked the book itself. But I think it's a really honest and open look about like what it's like to be Indigenous in North America, Canada, right? Like it's what does that mean?
Yeah, I hope some of you will pick it up and give it a shot and read a few. Like the last essay is like a workbook. Like I love writers when they do that stuff.
Exactly.
And I love writing that way as well.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yes.
So Alicia, Elliott.
So once again, thank you for joining us today. If this podcast resonated with you, make sure you subscribe, like, and share out on your social media. We really appreciate it. And have a great day, everyone. Bye.
Happy reading. Bye.